Hello, boys and girls. You are now listening to Peter Talks Wrasslin with. And you know what? You're in for a treat because the only other person that's done Peter Talks Wrasslin with has been that nerd, Nathan Newman. We've decided to become a podcast called A New Day, and I'm still looking to talk to people about some wrestling. So over Monday, last Monday, I ended up, I guess, on Twitter, and I responded to this one question or one comment that was made by @Yeah You Know It. And we went back and forth that evening, back and forth. And I'm like, hey, you want to do a podcast with me? And she agreed, and here we are. So on the other line, we have Keda.
Hey, how's it going?
It is awesome. And, you know, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I am also excited that I am talking to a female wrestling fan. It's not like a lot of y'all guys are very outspoken or willing to get on the podcast, or the representation of wrestling fans definitely feeds more to the male demographic. So to have a female on the other line who keeps up with the product, maybe more outside of WWE, is actually quite refreshing. So tell the people about yourself.
Awesome. Well, I'm Keda. You know, I'm from DC, and I've been a wrestling fan since 1999.
Wow.
But I started watching like faithfully maybe in early 2000s, but you know, back then it was crazy and hectic, so my mother always said, no, you can't watch it type of stuff, so I would sneak and watch it.
But what was so hectic about it that your mom was like, nah?
You know, first thing, I think I was 9 or 10, I can't remember the age I was exactly, but at that time she didn't let me watch wrestling because, you know, she heard bad things about it, you know. But that was her perspective because she's old school. See, she was from Roddy Piper era and Dusty Rhodes. So when she saw the Attitude Era, when my cousins were growing up, she didn't like it. So, you know, I was a child. So she said, no, she's not watching this. So I used to sneak with my cousins and watch it occasionally.
Oh, wow. And did you get in trouble if she found out you were watching it? Or she was just like, oh, okay, she slipped by me.
She was just like, go to your room, you're not going outside. You know, when you're like 9 or 10, you're like, oh, why? You know, you don't understand why. When I saw, I was like, wow, this is awesome.
And who introduced you to it? Who introduced?
It was my cousins. They used to watch it, and I always, because you know, back then I had to go to bed at 7 p.m. You know, back in the 90s. You know, now no.
I was in high school. When you're talking like late 90s, I was in college.
Okay, yeah, it was like 99 I started watching, but I didn't start watching faithfully to 2000. But my cousin, he's older, and I think he was in high school actually, and he used to watch it, and I used to like sneak in it and watch it, and then, you know, I had to go back to bed. But I always saw, the only person I kept seeing was The Rock. I was like, oh my God, I keep seeing The Rock. And I was like, wow, like, I want to watch this, but I can't.
You know what's funny? Because that was around the time I checked it out. I was in college, and I had gotten over it because as a kid I watched it, and then I watched it again, and then I stopped watching it, and then I started watching it again, and then when I went to college, it was a whole different dynamic, and I felt like I had gotten over it again. And plus, the people that were around me watching it were kind of assholes. They had their little factions, and they would like fight each other in the hallway, and I was just, dude, I just like wrestling. They ain't trying to deal with this shit. You know, and if they knew you were a wrestling fan, you either had to join their faction, like the NWO or the DX, or they would like beat you up. Like it was all fun and play. I just have a low tolerance for pain. Like, fuck that.
Gotcha. Yeah, me too. Like, me too. I have asthma, so I'm like, I don't like pain at all.
Yeah.
But that sounds crazy. Wow.
It was
crazy.
Who
was your... Huh? I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. No, I'm just saying, like, at that point in time, at the same time, it was always The Rock. It was always Stone Cold. It was always Mankind. And it's funny because I was like, dude, it's the same shit every time. So around that time, yeah, I stopped because the monotony of it was just getting on my nerves. So I had stopped watching it, and then I hadn't watched it again until, say, 2009.
Wow. So you missed that whole gap.
I missed that whole gap.
Wrestling.
No, well, I didn't miss it. So I wasn't dedicated to it. So if I caught an episode or something, it was like, all right, I caught it at this time, and then I caught it that time. But say between 2003, that's when I moved to Paris, France, until I came back and moved to Greensboro. I missed that entire gap. I totally missed that gap.
Wow.
Yeah. So, ooh. I mean, I still remember some things, but to a certain degree, I'm going back and re-educate myself and just keeping up with the product today, and also checking out the indies and things of that nature. I like talking it. I don't feel like a poser because I was a kid in the back in the day, but like it's not like I have this podcast to talk about old shit. I have this podcast to talk about the current product. But back in those days, oh man, like when I was watching NWA and the Crockett promotion and the old WWE and into WCW, Diamond Dallas Page, Booker T with Harlem Heat, and Dustin Rhodes. I loved Dustin Rhodes. And then when he became Stardust, I was like, this is interesting. I still love him. Yeah. So
right.
Yeah. So I right when Gold Dust had appeared, I was still watching. I was watching the WWF whenever I would go to my aunt's house. At home, I was watching WCW and NWA because I was more likely to check that out. So, and yours? Anybody who stuck out to you around your younger?
You know what? I can't remember the year. The years are blurry, but the Dudley Boys. I used to walk out when they used to put the women through the table. I'm a woman, but sorry, but I used to mock out when they put Trish Stratus to the table. I was like, oh my god, wow! Like that was the only spot that you could actually say, oh, that looked real. Because I don't know if you remember the spot when he did to Goldust's ex-wife. I think what's her name?
Sunny.
Oh my gosh, no. Malene, what's her name? Goldust's ex-wife. Because
he was with Sunny. Oh no! I apologize. It was, what was her name?
Melina. No. Not Melina. Oh god,
it was
horrible. Terry. Was her name Terry?
But she had a gimmick name though.
Yeah, it was Imda. It started with an Imda. It was in the 90s.
Yeah, it was.
I went back and watched it, but when I saw the Dougies put her through it, I said, oh, she didn't get none of that impact. So when I saw actually the Dougies did to Trish, I said, oh, she got all the impact to the table. Because you know how he's on the ropes and he screw his butt up like more, and his butt get the table, not the female.
Well, he puts his leg too. He puts his leg. He puts mad leg up under her. Like with Mae Young, and even with I saw her. What the hell is her name for TNA?
Who?
Dixie Carter.
Oh! You know what? I didn't even see that spot. I don't watch TNA that often, so forgive me.
I don't watch it at all. But I remember that being like a storyline of them stalking her to put her through a table, and when they finally put her through a table, when she was up in the air, she kind of did like what Machine Gun Kelly did and kind of moved a little bit.
Oh, gosh.
When Kevin Owens like threw his ass down, he kind of moved a little bit and it kind of fucked him up. Breaking kayfabe, but it was a straight shoot because he moved. But then Dixie did the same thing, and I think she ruptured a little something because she didn't, just instinct was just like budge. But it could have been worse. I seen him send Mae Young through that motherfucker. So when he sends Trish Stratus through, how old were you?
Gosh, I do not remember. Was that in 2003? I can't. Let me see. If I'm 24, you might have to do 14. Calculations for me.
You had to be 13 or 14.
14. Okay.
13 or 14.
Yeah, 13 or 14. Yeah. You know what? My father was in junior high. and I was just like, whoa, like, did he just do this? I believe it was a pay-per-view, if I'm not mistaken.
Was it he?
Huh?
Was it he?
I don't remember the pay-per-view. I want
No,
to say
I'm talking about, did you give mad heat to, were you pissed off? Were you like, what the fuck, man?
No, actually, no. I wasn't pissed off. Actually, I was actually happy. I was like, oh, somebody finally got her. Like, somebody finally got her. You know what I'm saying? I was grew up around boys. You know, I have brothers and I have a lot of uncles. So I grew up around men. So I was like, oh, they looked at my cousin. He was like, you're not supposed to cheer. You're supposed to be sad. Because I remember JR. He was just going, no, was it JR or Jerry King Lauder? It was one of them. They was going nuts, and one of them said, he playing Tonta hockey. Because before that, I believe she kissed Bubba Ray Dudley, if I'm not mistaken, because she tried to get out of it, and then he grabbed her hand. I was like, oh no! I was like, no, he shouldn't do it. But when he put her to the table, I was just like, wow, like that's awesome. Like, I was a corrupted kid. So
well, was there anything back in the day that you actually was like, it pissed you off? You had basically, you were so invested in maybe this one character and something happened and you were literally pissed.
That's a good question. Who can I'm trying to remember when I was pissed off. You know what? This might be weird, but I was mad when Crash Holly kept losing the Hardcore Championship. But I was very mad when he kept losing. I'm like, why he just can't keep it? I don't know. Like I don't have enough. I was very pissed at. Besides storylines today, but that's another subject. But I never was like, oh my god, like why? I can't remember. I'm trying to think. Oh, you know what? WrestleMania 17. That's what it was. WrestleMania 17, when Austin started beating up The Rock with the chair.
Oh yeah,
I was like, no, what are you doing? My mother actually ordered a pay-per-view. I was so pumped. I was like, what are you doing? Like, why are you on Vince's side? Why?
Yeah, that was the moment.
I was pissed at that. I was really pissed at that.
Everybody was pissed at that. That was the moment. That was the moment where WWE fucked up. That was the biggest screw up in almost all of wrestling history. You could go over all the mistakes that's happened with all the promotions and say even at that time. That turn at WrestleMania 17 when he aligned with Vince and he beat, it was a double turn and he aligned himself with Vince, the ratings dropped like significantly because everyone was you didn't hear about that.
I'm trying because I was still a teenager, so it was more like I watch when I go. I really wasn't online that much. Yeah,
but I'm talking about even today, like when people talk about what happened back then.
Oh yeah, definitely. I did hear about the ratings. It went down, and then they didn't know what to do with him.
Yeah, it ruined the Austin character. It ruined the WWE for a couple of years. It took a while for them to repair from that moment. It's one of those sour patches, and whenever Austin actually brings it up. He brings it up because he was so against doing it, and Vince and Kevin Dunn were like, "Let's do this. Let's just." It wasn't done. It was the other guy. What the hell is his name? Vince Russo, because he was like he's like king of swerve, and they were like, all right, we're gonna do this, and Austin had no other choice but to accept it. So. It's funny that's your. You know what mine is? Growing up, I was a big fan of the Steiner brothers. Like I love because Rick Steiner wasn't this big Papa Pup, that you knew when he when basically the Varsity Club had turned on Rick Steiner and took him out. This measly kid showed up, and it was Rick Steiner, the brother of Scott Steiner. He wrestled at Michigan as well, and he came to the WCW to avenge, his brother. But he was having matches before he was ready to face Mike Rotunda, who became IRS, and Kevin Sullivan. And he came back. The Steiner brother, he got better. He was losing matches. He came back. He started winning matches. He showed up with the Frankensteiner, all that shit. Rick Steiner came back. They became the Steiner brothers. They were kicking ass and taking names. And then one fucking day, Scott Steiner turned on Rick, and I was in tears.
Oh,
I was in fucking tears because it was the first time that I had seen a brother dynamic. Because I'm like, it's your brother. You're not going to turn on your brother, of all people. I took that shit to heart as a kid. They got into their stance where Rick was the dog-faced gremlin, and he got under his leg, and they got in their pose where Scott was standing over him, and then he just like sat on him.
Wow.
And then start beating him up. And I'm like, stop! I could have swore I was like 11 or 12 years old, and I was so pissed. I was so mad. I will not forget. I will not ever forget that happened. Ever. And I think he aligned himself. Who the fuck did he align himself with? Oh, he aligned himself with somebody, but I was just so angry. Oh man! So do you check?
You were so devastated.
I was devastated. I mean, because it was your fucking blood. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd never seen that. I thought that was one thing you would never do in wrestling.
Exactly.
Have one brother turn against another.
That's right.
It's not like there were many brothers.
Exactly. You know what? And you know what? I felt the same way about the Undertaker and Kane.
Okay. So, I mean, what was something that stood out when? Because who turned on who? Remind me who turned on who.
Oh, I'm trying to remind myself. I brought it up. I want to say
Kane.
It was Kane, right?
Kane turned on
Taker, right?
Yes.
Because did he take out okay refresh me, I might be wrong, but when is a storyline between Vince and the Undertaker and the Barry Lab match, or I'm going too far ahead, and Kane came and betrayed the Undertaker and they met at WrestleMania? Maybe I'm going too far.
Well, they did it a billion times. I mean, I think
it's like a blur. I was trying to remember when.
I think they turned. Yeah, I think they turned like maybe 5 or 6 times.
Okay.
But I think the first time they turned, it was kind of like it was a swerve. It was kind of out of the blue. It was Paul Bearer. It was basically both Paul Bearer and Kane that turned on Taker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you the situation, but I just remember that happening because that was when I was watching. That was super early because I remember Kane showing up. He was done with being the dentist, and they had made up the storyline that he had a brother that survived the fire, and when Kane showed up, and then. They were already at each other's throats. Then they became the Brothers of Destruction, and then Kane and Paul Bearer both turned on Undertaker, and that was like I like to think it was around like 95, maybe 94, 95. So, and that was like one of many times that they fucking turned on each other.
Oh, okay, because I was thinking the one with Sarah. When the Undertaker wife was with him, it was Sarah, the Undertaker, and Kane. I remember because I remember a storyline with DDP. You brought him up earlier with DDP.
That's what
I was trying to think. Huh?
DDP and I thought when DDP showed up, he was going after Stephanie or something. He was stalking.
No,
he was
no. I thought DDP was stalking the Undertaker's wife. Remember, and he came. Okay. Because I remember JR covered the story because I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, they showed video of the Undertaker at home and stuff, and then JR was like, what is going on? And then DDP showed up on Raw. Yeah. I don't remember the year, but he showed up on Raw. I was like, oh my God, he's the one who's stalking Sarah.
That had to have been after the buyout. Because, that had to have been a year after the buyout because that was when WWE bought out WCW, it took a year for all the main players to make it over. All of them. Okay. All of them, from Razor to Hogan to DDP and all that. At first, it was just a bunch of B players from WCW. So when DDP finally showed up, and again, he's one of my favorites. I saw him when he first showed up. He was a manager. and then
he
was a manager, and he had all these gimmicks going on at once, and then he ended up wrestling, and he had again so many gimmicks going on at once, and then he stripped down the gimmicks. He went with the self high five shit, and then he just started to, because if you can notice through the people that I like, they're all like really tall, but they move.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was about to ask you that.
Yeah, but they're big guys, but they move like cruiserweights. Like DDP was tall, but he was very swift, and he also did he went to the air. Booker T the same way. Goldust or Dustin Rhodes, they were still they were big cruiserweights to me. And, when you're talking about the land of giants where you just kind of stood and punched and slammed, you had these guys coming off the top rope, doing aerodynamic, aerial assaults and stuff, quick moves that would catch you off guard. Like Booker T had that fucking kick, the scissor kick. I just absolutely love it. And DDP, man, his charisma, and all of them had ridiculous charisma, but DDP's charisma was something, man. I got so pumped whenever he showed up. He was self high five. He had that cheap ass Nirvana knockoff song, Smells Like Teen Spirit. and I get fucking pumped. I was like self high five. I put my shit up in the air. I was a kid, man. I lost it, man. I lost that shit. So let me ask you this. You follow the product today, the WWE, definitely. But what other products do you follow?
Okay, you might shake your head. I followed Lucha Underground about the first 6 weeks, and I stopped because my schedule started getting busy. Mm-hmm. And because we have Comcast in DC, but they only have it on the Spanish channel. I can't remember the name. Forgive me. And it's not in English, so I try to go online to find episodes, and by the time I find it, it won't be on it no more. Or if I want to see it, it'd be okay, it's not in English. I'd rather listen to it in English.
So how about this? Let me give you a bit of advice if you want to actually go back and check out almost anything. A lot of Lucha Underground. I go to this website called watchwrestling.ch.
Okay.
All the episodes are on there. It takes you to an upload site. I would suggest go to the Cloudy link. You have a bunch of you have Daily Motion, you have UWatch, and a whole bunch of other Beast Stream. But I watch the Cloudy videos. That's just the name of the upload company.
Okay.
Cloudy Video, and you can go back and they got the entire season. So if you ever want,
that's fantastic. That's all I need.
Okay, watchwrestling.ch. I think it's going to take you to TO or something, but you can still use the domain. But it'll probably show up as Watch Wrestling TO or some shit like that. I'd much rather give you the CH one than the TO one because I know the CH one is most definite. They still use the domain, but the server is coming from something else. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I watched all that shit. I bought my first wrestling tee just this past week, and it was the Lucha Underground shirt.
Wow, you must be very committed.
Well, I think
you are.
Well, you have to look at a lot of the wrestling shirts and shit. They're very gaudy. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be caught dead in at least 80% of the t-shirts the wrestlers come out with. Because they're really over the top. I don't wear a lot of stuff that's a bunch of stuff on it. You'll probably get some letters or something, and maybe just a blank shirt. But for the most part, or an emblem. But for the most part, man, that affliction or a whole bunch of shit on it. And this Lucha Underground one, it's just a sweet little Lucha mask, and it just says Lucha Underground. So I was I watched the season finale. I watched both of them, and I was man, fuck this, man. I'm getting this shirt. And it came in the mail a couple of days ago, and I was just hell yeah. This is
And what color is it?
Black. It's the black one that people wearing.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Gotcha.
I plan on wearing it tonight.
Oh, look at you. Okay, another shirt that I'm gonna get and that you should get is the Sasha Banks one, the Legit Boss. Now I will wear that outside. Like I will wear that one outside.
I think
that's the only shirt I probably will wear like in the normal day.
They'd be like, "What the hell is this?" Like, yo, it's wrestling. But are you the wrestling girl? Like, around your people?
I'm the only one, actually.
So you're not even just a wrestling girl. You're like the wrestling fan. You're like the single.
Yes, exactly. My little brother, he watched the network and he was like, I like the old stuff. I don't like this new stuff. It's crap.
Yeah.
So he burnt himself out on the old stuff, the Attitude Era stuff. So now he wouldn't even watch the.
So your brother he's not a fan of the new product whatsoever.
No, he's not. But he's a fan of John Cena he's like a part-time John Cena fan. Like if John Cena's on TV, he will watch it for a couple of minutes. Oh, okay, he just talking again. But he will watch his matches maybe a few times. But he prefers the older stuff.
How old is he?
He is 12.
Okay. So
he's a baby.
Okay, so wait a minute. That's when you got started.
I know, but this era of wrestling, Peter, is horrible a little bit. But
it is.
But
It is. I will agree. But as wrestling fans, I think between us and say gamers and comic book fans, we're probably the most loyal, or even anime fans. We're the most loyal fan base there is. Even when it's garbage, we will watch it or read it
faithfully
and wait for moments of just moments. Like it's like a drug. You know what I'm saying? Like we're waiting for that good high. When it happens, say for instance, what happened at WrestleMania 31 and the cash in with Seth Rollins, I lost my mind. I
was shocked, but I wasn't shocked. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I predicted he was going to do it, but like how it went about, it was like a breath of fresh air because, you don't sit back with the notion that something's going to knock you off your feet in terms of storyline or like just, oh, wow, look at this. This is out of the blue.
Right.
And I'm like, yay, this is why I'm a wrestling fan, So.
And that was the main event. So it just threw me off. It was like, oh, they actually did it. Like, wow. Like, thank you, WWE. Claps to WWE right now.
Yeah,
like,
when he ran out, I was like, wait a minute. Is this going to become a triple threat? Is that even part of the Money in the Bank? Like, and I sat there like, oh, shit, is this really going to be a triple threat? And then she was like, this has become a triple threat. Like, good old Julie. What the hell is her name?
Jesus.
Because right now I'm all stuck on Eden Styles. That's Goldust's wife, Eden Styles.
Oh no, Goldust. Oh, Cody Rhodes' wife.
Yeah, Cody Rhodes' wife. So I'm in love with her. And but the one before her is
Lillian Garcia, right?
Lillian Garcia,
Yeah, I love her. Like, remember back in I know you took a break, but remember back in the early 2000s, I believe, when The Rock used to mess with her. It used to be hilarious.
Oh yeah. Well, I watch my share of Rock promos. It's like
oh man,
I make you wet with perspiration. I even remember when 2 Minute Drill fucking busted her up. Do you remember that? 2 minutes.
Okay, let me think. That's what Eric Bishop. He's from like 5 minutes, and she was in the ring.
Yeah, and like they
Rosie, I think his name was.
It was like Umaga.
Oh yeah, Rosie and Jamal. I believe that's their names. I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and they
crushed her.
They did that little finisher on her, man. I was like, wow, she took that bump, man. Like that's ridiculous. And she was off TV for a while, but like, she has a singing career, and I think that was one of the ways to sort of write her off. So when she goes away, it's because she's on tour with her singing career. She's like pretty successful where she's from.
Oh, okay. Do you remember what Big Daddy V, when he slammed her? Do you remember that when he squashed her? Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember that at all.
I can't remember. Was it Raw? But he was basically he was being nice to her, and I believe he slammed that move that what is it called? He smushed her, and I was like, wow, like he really smushed this lady? like he's like, what, 500? I might be wrong, but I'm just saying 500 at the time. I was like, whoa, did he just smush this lady?
Like sat on her?
Well, like the my head hurts at the moment, but what's how you go to the road and you slam on them like you do a what's that move that Tamina do off the top rope, but you doing it on the ground? What is the slam? Basically you go on a rope and you jump on them, but your belly go first. What's the proper name of that move?
Oh, you're talking about the Thez press?
Maybe it was a Thez press.
That's when Stone Cold would do it. He would go to the ropes, jump on them, jump on their chest, and then hit them in the head a couple of times.
Okay, something like that, but he just squashed it with his stomach. He just basically drove his weight on top of her.
Oh, so he just splashed her.
Yeah, splashed. There you go. See, I'm sorry. Yeah, he splashed her. Sorry.
Wow. So
I was trying to think of it. It was a while ago. I can't remember if it was Raw or SmackDown. Forgive me, but it was a while ago.
And for those who are listening, when we say splashed, yeah, that means he jumped on her with his belly and not the other splash. Okay. Get your mind out. Get your mind out the gutter. Get your mind out the gutter. You feel me? But
oh yes, come on, y'all. What the fuck? Come on. Shit.
So Lucha Underground was it any one character that stood out to you that you were just like this motherfucker is
Prince Puma?
Okay. So do you know about Ricochet? Do you know of Ricochet?
I heard of him. I went back to watch a couple of YouTube videos, but I heard of him. So okay, let me go check him out. And I saw a couple of matches. Forgive me, I don't know his opponents' names.
No, it's all good. It's several because they're all independent people. So
independent wrestling. That's the one thing I wanted to do this year is focus more on the independent shows because I'm a WWE chick. I'm trying to expand to different organizations. I tried TNA, but that failed.
Yeah, that's not really a good one.
Yeah, but with Ricochet, I saw his matches. I'm just like, wow. And when I first watched Lucha Underground, he was with Conan. I'm like, wow, Conan's back on TV. This is awesome. I love Conan. And I'm like, wow, he's his manager. And I was like, okay, this is going to be good.
Check this out. There's this podcast. It's called MLW. Mm-hmm. MLW is basically, it's this guy named Court Bauer, it's Scott Pollard, and Conan. And every Sunday they do a podcast together, and they're just shooting shit. It's definitely worth checking out because Conan, he's like a griot. He's funny, and he's kind of lewd, but he's also he's very wise, and he drops in his own little special way, some sick knowledge, There's also Disco Inferno. But yeah, if you want to just hear his dialogue and hear the shit he talks about, check out MLW, Major League Wrestling. It's even an app. You could download it and listen to, because you could do the pay subscription where they do more deep discussion, what's the word I want to use? Premium content. But then you have the free stuff, and that's one of them. It's definitely worth checking out. MLW, remember that, and download the app. What do you got? An iPhone or a?
Oh, team iPhone. Okay. Peter, come on, team iPhone. Yes. Okay. No, I wrote it down.
Yeah, check it out. You will laugh your ass off. I mean, you literally laugh your ass off because Conan's that dude. But Ricochet, the first time I saw him was with Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, PWG. And I think he was tagging with ACH, and they would go up against, I forgot who they were going up against. And I was like, this motherfucker is out of his mind. And when he showed up on Lucha Underground under the mask, I was like, oh, snap. He's on something now, because I'm like, who would pass him up? You know who the fuck passed him up? WWE. He actually went over there. He went to Florida for a tryout, and they sent his ass packing.
Why? I don't know. The WWE. I don't know if they would put him under a mask, but he might be the new Rey Mysterio, or
not even close.
He better Rey Mysterio, but I'm just saying, do you think if WWE hiring him, do you think they would put him under a mask or keep him his face? Because he has a baby face look.
He's pretty Ricky, is what he is.
He's sexy, but
that pretty motherfucker. Fuck him. he ain't high yellow. He ain't dark skinned. He that like right there, that complexion. He has that body of a fucking god. You know, like somebody just like sculpted out of a rock. You know? And you know, he has a good looking face, good hair, and he's just an athletic. Like he's just something that he's something that you'd never seen before. And I think that's what I think it fucked up WWE, because if anything, he's out of control. When you're talking about the plant down in Florida, their whole thing is to slow you down. That's what that whole, take these indie guys and slow them down so they can actually last longer. That's why Daniel Bryan's in the predicament that he is now. He didn't go through the plant like everyone else, but he was part of NXT. So now he's suffering a concussion because he can't fucking slow down. You look at Hideo Itami, same fucking thing. Won't slow down. And their injuries are because of that. And plus, being in their early 30s, they might want to, like, you know, I understand the indie style is very, very, like, you know, it's flashy and it's good. And I think they saw that with Ricochet, so they sent him home. It's like, hey, take it down a notch and come back. He goes to fucking Lucha Underground, and he cranks that shit up to, like, 50 billion.
Yes, when I first saw him, I was like, whoa, like, why he's not in WWE?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Wow.
It's something they'd never seen before. I mean, you can't really compare him to anybody. You want to talk about an athletic African-American guy, you talk about Shelton Benjamin. And he's nothing like Shelton Benjamin. Nothing.
Man, that was my man. I wish he'd have won the championship, but that's another situation. Okay.
Yeah, he fucked
Continue,
up. He fucked up. He fucked that up.
What man, how? Like, how did he mess that up exactly?
Drug shit. He felt the wellness stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, look at Randy Orton. I mean, you know, strike two.
Well, I think he almost has 4 strikes to a certain extent. Who,
Randy? Or
yeah, Randy. Randy's a fuck
4.
up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, he technically has 4. But the thing is, how loyal he's been to the company, the fact that his dad is who he is, and I mean, Randy Orton, you just can't find another Randy Orton. He's like Adrian. He's like the Adrian Peterson of like the NFL of wrestling. You know, like even though you know he was kind of like talent always succeeds fuck ups. You know, I don't care. I don't care how fucked up you are. You know, you talk about what's been happening with domestic violence. You got guys like Ray Rice who don't get a second chance, but then you got guys, the Kraken that plays for the Panthers. Now he just got signed to the Cowboys. He's getting a second chance. What he did was probably worse than Ray Rice. But you know what? Talent always gets a second chance. And Randy Orton just happens to be that person. He just happens to be that dude.
I mean, he just lucky, but he's not lucky with this storyline with Sheamus again. Like, how many times do we see this match with him and Sheamus?
I think I lost count after like 5,000.
I am sick of this match with these two. Maybe they don't have nothing for Randy Orton because he's face right now, and maybe he's in a loop because they don't have nothing for him. Like I don't know. Like I don't know. I was thinking maybe Randy should be have a storyline with Kevin Owens right now or Cesaro. Not Cesaro's face now,
but here's
Kevin
the thing.
Owens.
Here's the thing. That's Cena's sloppy seconds. And it would have been so obvious. It's like, okay, I think the position that Randy Orton is in is around every year around this time. He's always in this situation. Always
lazy.
Well,
he's lazy.
I don't think it's laziness. I think it's a matter of rotation. Right now, it's all about Cena. Cena's on top, and there's going to be this moment where Randy Orton is going to have his resurgence. And part of that was him facing... He's there. Around the Royal Rumble, Randy Orton becomes a force. Like, Royal Rumble, but say, like, right around...
Survivor Series?
He becomes a bit of a force. It's just that lull between the Royal Rumble and say SummerSlam, he's never really featured. But when it comes around WrestleMania, he's always featured. That post SummerSlam. So I'd imagine after this, after what happens after SummerSlam, we'll probably see Randy Orton more in a prominent position. Who he's going to be facing? It probably will be someone who will make him look good in the ring. Like, make him look really good in the ring. Very much like what Cena just did with the U.S. Open Challenge.
Okay. Do you think that they're going to give him, like, the Intercontinental Champion? Like, do you think he's going to get, like, a belt anytime soon to do, like, what Cena's doing with the U.S. Champion? Well, what he was.
This is if you listen to Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling last Wednesday, I brought that up to Jake. And Jake goes, that could happen, but that doesn't necessarily reflect him and his character. Because he's the Viper. He's not someone who's like, oh, I'm going to run up with you face to face. He's someone who's waiting in the cut, waiting for the opportunity to strike. Not necessarily wait for someone to strike him. So if you look at it, and it could be possible that he could get the Intercontinental belt and then do his Intercontinental Open Challenge thing and can face off with Neville and can face off with Owens and can face off with Cesaro. But it doesn't fit his character. Not at all.
Okay. Because it just feel like, I mean, like you said, he's in the loop right now, but it just feel like they could do something else better with him, with his character. But I understand,
it's
he's
seasonal.
more important around seasonal.
It's seasonal. He'll be back. He'll be back in some shape, form, or fashion. And if anything, he'll probably end up because you look at a guy like Seth Rollins, right? And Seth Rollins is the guy with the belt. He's basically replaced Randy Orton. And I think over time, there's going to be like a storyline where Seth Rollins is going to have conflict with Triple H. And
I'm sorry to cut you. I was going to ask you that too.
You good?
I was going to ask you this. Continue. I'm sorry.
No, you good. Keep going.
No, I was going to ask you, what do you think about Seth Rollins and his championship run lately? And do you think Triple H is going to turn on him? That's what I was going to say, but go ahead.
I think... no, what do you think? You're the guest.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, this is my prediction for SummerSlam. It might be really cheesy, but I'm thinking Cena versus Seth Rollins. I heard the rumor that Daniel Bryan might come back, but I'm not sure.
He's not coming back anytime soon. Trust me.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. So I'm thinking Cena versus Rollins, and somehow Rollins beats Cena. We know it's probably not going to happen, but I'm thinking Rollins going to beat Cena, the help of Triple H, and then they celebrate. So Seth have both titles. Celebrate, and then Triple H do the thumbs down. Pedigree him. He want his move back. And Sheamus coming out there and basically is it called a bro kick or the broski kick? And then win the title. And win the title that way.
And then Sheamus will be the
new authority, basically. That's my prediction.
So that means in order for Randy Orton to be actually in championship contendership, he would have to extend the feud with Sheamus.
No, I'm talking about like Sheamus come out after the Rollins match. Like basically Triple H screw off Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
And then Randy Orton, he probably have another story. Like I'm blowing off Randy Orton right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at like basically Seth versus Cena. Cena gets screwed by Triple H, and Seth gets screwed by Triple H as well. And basically, Sheamus the new authority, and he has the belt, but Seth Rollins have the U.S. Championship. You see what I'm saying? It sounds cheesy. It's a little confusing.
No. You hit a lot you hit a lot right then. I mean, I feel that Seth Rollins. I have Cena winning, right? Because football season's coming up. And the WWE has done a horrible job during the football offseason to give us a product to where when Monday rolls around, because I'm a football guy, when Monday rolls around, it's a critical decision. to decide whether you're going to watch Monday Night Football or Monday Night Raw. They did a horrible job. Just a horrible job. And it's not like Seth with the belt is bringing ratings. This is why the SummerSlam main event is Brock and Undertaker. You know, you got a champion who can't headline a the second biggest pay-per-view in the WWE pay-per-view calendar.
But I think that's WWE for how the storyline they're giving him.
It is. Like I said, that they did a horrible job over the football offseason to make sure that the ratings were high. With very lazy bookings, very lazy, just lazy. And Cena, who is, again, he's the golden egg, him with the belt could actually help the ratings, because there is one thing to think storyline and things that make sense and logical. We are talking about the WWE here. That doesn't happen too often.
I know, but I mean, clearly people could realize that I'm not a Cena fan. In the early 2000s, yes, but I'm just sick of him having the belt. Don't get me wrong. I was the first person to say he had matches of the year this year. Like, he did great, except for that stunner, that springboard stunner. He need to stop that. Like, stop before you hurt somebody.
I know, right?
Stop.
Hurt himself.
Yeah, the only person I think who actually made it look good was Seth Rollins, I believe.
Yeah.
Even Cesaro couldn't make it look good because it just looked so sloppy to me. I'm not a wrestler. I never got in the ring before.
Well, Cena's like a cardboard box. Everything he does looks very bulky and boxy and very awkward. So he's not a smooth wrestler at all. Ain't nothing smooth about what he does. But he's just a golden boy. He could cut a sick promo. And you know what? He's in it for the long haul. I mean, you look at all the people who's been on top at the WWE. He's been on top for like almost 11 years. And,
the longest. Yeah, that's
Stone Cold
long reign.
At the most was at the top for like maybe 2.5. Or say even Shawn Michaels was maybe like 2 years. The Rock maybe 1 year. But actually, The Rock never was the face of the company. And you take a guy like Cena, who's been the face of the company for like over a decade, it just goes to show where their, bread is butter. And as much as people were happy that he came down to the mid card, once you think about it, he still had the highest profile matches.
He did. I mean, I'm not a Cena fan. On Twitter, I'm like, oh God, Cena's on here, but he had matches of the year. I will never take that from him. Like he actually bring his A game this year with these U.S. Open challenges. I was like, wow, holy crap. I
still believe though, and Cena just happened to be in a good place, right time. I have to give the credit to, say, a combination of Kevin Owens, a combination of Cesaro, a combination of Neville. Those guys. Those guys carried those matches. He was just able to keep up. Keep up with them, yeah. Yeah, and that's Wild Boy. I mean, I give Cena his respect. I give him credit what credit's due, but I definitely will look at it for what it is. And he was just along for the ride, and he just happened to benefit from it, because they could have put anyone in that spot, and it would have been the same way. But because of the scrutiny that Cena gets, and this being like somewhat of a redemption sort of push that he's getting to get the respect of the wrestling fan, and it worked, because you got marks, people who are just anti-Cena singing his praises, which just blows me the fuck away. Just
why?
Because it's just like, what are you gonna like Cena, or you're not gonna like Cena? When you got motherfuckers who take a stance, taking stances for years against John Cena, and now all of a sudden they're like, oh wow, he's part of matches of the year. I'm like, that's a bit odd.
You know what? I mean, you might be putting me in this category a little bit, but the only thing, I was just giving him credit for his match. Well, thanks to Kevin Owens and the rest of them. But because people on Twitter say, oh, you're not giving him the credit he deserves. I said, no, I would give him credit, but he did have help.
Yeah, that's all he was.
With the matches. I mean, I don't hate him. I'm not one of them non-Cena fans don't hate him to like for example, people was praising that he got injured. Like, I'm not that type of person.
Yeah, that was weird.
That's weird. I was like, no, that's sick in the head. You need help because you shouldn't
be wishing.
You should be happy someone get injured. Like, that's sick. I mean, I was happy he went on a TV for a week, but not because of his injury. You know, we just need a break from him. You know, so I always said we need a vacation from him. Like, we just need a vacation from him, and we got a mini vacation from him. You know, I mean, that nose injury looked at oof.
Yeah,
wow.
It was definitely something very. I mean, it's a good thing it was only his nose, though. You know, those things. He was on Tough Enough. It looked like he didn't have an injury at all. He had reconstructive surgery. Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
Wow. Because I didn't, I don't watch Tough Enough, so forgive me. So I tried to watch it for 5 minutes, I turned it off.
I didn't watch it either. I watched SmackDown, and they played the clip in the opening segment of Seth Rollins. He did the opening segment, and then they showed the clip from Tough Enough of him basically accepting the challenge, belt for belt, that Seth put out a week ago on Raw. So he's standing there, and it's like, what, nose injury?
I mean, he got the money for it because I mean, you remember in the past, he had a black eye. Have you ever realized when he get injured with his face, they don't put him on TV right away? Yeah, they wait a week or two. Like, no, you're the face. You can't go out there looking like that.
You can't be Ryback and shit. Ryback come out with busted everything all the time. And they're like, that's cool though. It fits your persona. But John Cena, he is the face. I mean, you know who John Cena is really once you really break it down? Oh. I feel like The Miz is his alter ego. Like when we see The Miz,
really?
Yeah. Like in terms of like the A-list, don't touch the face. I'm the best in this company. That's like, for me, it's like his little alter ego. Like what John Cena really is The Miz.
Is The Miz.
Yeah.
Oh man, right? I love The Miz occasionally.
And The Miz is actually John Cena. Like, he's a piece of shit, but like, I feel like turned up, like, okay, we got this golden boy image, but in fact, to be the number one guy in the world, in the sport and entertainment industry, he has to have a little bit of ego. And that's where The Miz come in, to like, sort of be that dude. Maybe it's a long shot, maybe it's a bit of a stretch of analysis, but like, dude, he has not only the money, because it's not like John Cena went in and put up his cash to get that nose job. You got the best surgeons in the world to work on John Cena's nose. Right?
Oh, definitely, yeah. He's the face. They better make that face look right for this company.
Man, that shit look real good, real nice and shiny. I wouldn't be surprised. They got like some witch doctors just waiting to put him in a younger body. My
God. Well, they need to do that to Daniel Bryan. I mean, I love Daniel Bryan. I'm part of the Yes moment. Yes movement. But that's.
But it's all head contusions, and you gotta be. I think if that whole CM Punk shit didn't go down when he was calling out the Med about like how they looked over his staph infection, and then how he suffered concussions and went back out there. WWE Med now is way more protocol driven, and when you're talking about concussions, and you talk about Daniel Bryan, who's had he's even admitted to having over like 100 concussions or some shit, and maybe that's some tall tale Paul Bunyan type shit, but you look at a guy, you take that flying headbutt and that being his signature move for like a very long time, I wouldn't doubt it that he's had his share of concussions. And if he was to get in a match and he had that one concussion that would just take him out forever, that's blood on WWE's hands. So they may as well just keep his. And it's funny, he's an outlier. The benefit of the doubt of him just showing up and people losing their mind. He doesn't even have to wrestle like that. Even though it was in Washington, they could have been in Texas, and the crowd would have just lost their shit for the fact that this guy is inactive.
Exactly. Yeah, because he came to DC. Well, actually, I can't. Okay, he came to DC, and we just, we went nuts. I can't remember when he came to DC, but matter of fact, when he had the feud, WrestleMania 30, when they came to DC, the last Raw before WrestleMania, and the crowd just went nuts. Like, they went nuts. Yeah. So,
but like, even outside, even though he's not an in-ring performer right now because of his like head injuries and stuff, he still gets that heat, and it's like no one else has that luxury ever to just be like, okay, you got this sample size of who I am in the ring. You saw me at the top of the mountain, and we've seen less of Daniel Bryan than we've seen more of him. You know what I'm saying? And like he just walks into the room, and like people just loses their mind. It's not like Cena has that luxury. He gets heat, but he's not like beloved. Randy Orton.
Yeah, he's more hated.
Kane. Yeah, Kane. Like ain't nobody. And I didn't think it's been other than Stone Cold and The Rock. Daniel Bryan's the only person that has the luxury of not even being an in-ring performer and still get the reaction that he gets. That's why on SmackDown, they used Ryback. He gave Ryback the rub on SmackDown. And who's to say what's going to happen with Ryback and his return again from like something, injury or like this was a staph infection. It just blows me away. How do you feel about the New Day?
Okay. I love the New Day. It grew on me. Like they grew on me. Like I'm just like, what? At first I was like, when I first saw the promos, I was like, okay, these guys need to be heels. Like that's the first thing came in my head, and I was like, okay, they came out as babyface. I'm like, no, like this is not working.
Yeah.
It's like it don't feel natural to me.
No.
It just don't. And then when they came here, I was like, finally, and they won the tag team champions. I was like, oh wow, like I'm loving the New Day. Like it took me a minute to get on board, but Kofi Kingston, man, like him when he be coming out skipping, Big Lee. Oh my God, they be having me dying.
I know.
Laughing.
As soon as you hear the voice, oh Washington D.C., I just the hair on my arm stands up because I'm like, oh shit. And they've actually become. I was talking last Wednesday. They've become creepier once you think about it. They become because they went from basically being assholes, like sort of like passive aggressive assholes. Then they turned into like the loud black guys in the movie, right? The annoying black guys in the movie theater. You know what I'm saying? That won't shut up.
Yeah. We got that in DC.
That's what the New Day became, and now they become like this sort of dark, creepy, sort of uneasy, like. Thing like it's aloof now to where it's almost what's the word psychotic. So like it works. It just gets better and better and better. And it's like when they won, what was it? Was it Monday? They won and then they started dancing in the ring. And Big was wiggling and I think Xavier Wood was doing the nay. Some shit.
Yeah, he was. He was doing the damn thing. I was like, look, they all clowns, and I loved them. Like,
well, I didn't see it as clowns because they looked creepy doing it. Like, I was like, this is really weird.
And you know what? And you know what's weird? Because my family, they don't really watch wrestling besides my brother, part time. But my mother came in the kitchen, and she was like, "What is he doing?" And she stopped what she was doing, and then she stopped because they grasped her. And they was leaving, and, they was dancing. She was like, "Oh, I like them. What's their names?" And then she was like, "And it's that guy always be in them ladder matches, because occasionally
Kofi.
And I was like, Kofi Kingston. She was like, "Have you ever won a belt yet? Did he beat Cena?" You know how you got casual friends, they don't understand the storylines. And
I know.
She was like, "Oh, he ain't champion?" So he was an Intercontinental. She was like, "No, they need to make him champion or something."
Well,
like,
he's been in the company for long enough, and actually, he was a dark horse. And to me, he was the dark horse in the
Money in the Bank.
And the Money in the Bank. I had Sheamus winning it. I predicted Sheamus was going to win because I was like, well, he's the only heel in that whole thing that would actually be a believable, Money in the Bank holder. And he is winning it. But I heard discussion like, oh shit, Kofi Kingston. He's been in the WWE for a very long time. And maybe he's been vanilla. I guess that whole the Randy Orton feud sort of took him down a notch.
That was his best work. Well, besides New Day at the moment, but that was his best work with Randy Orton.
But since then he was just a vanilla babyface, and like they would throw belts on him as placeholders until like a heel took it off of him. Whether. Right.
basically he was like a transitioning champion, basically.
Yeah. And they never gave him anything. So now you look at him now, his first ever official heel turn, and he's just like this thing. Now, I only hope, because I feel like they're going to fuck it up somehow and have Big E like turn on Kofi or something like that.
No, don't do that. Why do they have to do this?
I know. But like, I think within this faction, and maybe if they keep it around long enough for next year's Money in the Bank and he wins it, I think that could be something really good for him. I think that could be something extremely good for everyone, honestly. But people would cheer him. That would be the only problem. He would be like the cool heel. He'd be the cool heel.
Okay, I have a question. So, if Kofi Kingston won the Money Bank next year, do you think it would be the good idea for him to cash it the Raw after WrestleMania? It depends who's champion. If you have a heel champion who won it at WrestleMania as a champion and won, and do you think that would be a moment to have Kofi Kingston to come in and cash in on a champion?
Depending on, it really does depend on who it is, because as soon as Kofi runs out with it, he could be the most dastardly piece of shit. You know, he can have him like kicking, like beating up women and throwing babies and like robbing banks and like, not even that, just like, just everything about him is just like this horrible person. Just because he's been in the WWE so long, and he hasn't had his moment, that as soon as he ran out, that place would explode.
Definitely.
Like, oh shit, this is his time, So,
but they need to do it. They need to do it on like in the city. They get loud reactions. Don't do it somewhere it's crickets, because it's not gonna feel organic. It's gonna feel, okay, he just cashed in.
But the way, the way that they've been doing the New Day, any and every place that they show up to, they route, like, it becomes the most entertaining part of the night when they walk in, outside of Cena, yeah, those guys got it. They got it. They came to, I'm in Greensboro, and they came to Greensboro, and we were all like, New Day rocks. And they addressed it. They were just like looking around. That was a house show. They're like, you hear this? We actually rock in Greensboro. And then they shat on us because they're like, because they were the champions at the time. It's like, well, at least they must be happy because this is the first time they've seen a real champion. Because it's not like the Hornets are winning anything or the Panthers are winning. Like, they shat on us immediately, and we were showing them love. You know what I'm saying? So that was pretty fucking. That was cool. That was cool. Because I was like, oh man, boo.
Oh man, wow.
So it would depend.
But they have grown on me, yeah.
Oh yeah, they grow on me, because at first, if you go back a couple of podcasts back, I was like, man, what the fuck are y'all doing? And now they're like the best thing on television right now. They are the best. So you take a guy like Kofi, and he gets an opportunity to get that belt, the place is going to go insane. And I think he'll probably has as much of a successful run as champion as, say, what they're doing with Seth Rollins.
You know, I'm a huge fan of Seth Rollins, but this run is just oof. Well, like, I'm glad they didn't put on Roman Reigns, but it's just like I don't know, it's the story or they have him talking for too long. Have you ever realized when Seth Rollins talk more than 10 minutes, it feel like he's going in a circle? Does that? I mean, not this month, but like in the past, it just feel like he's repeating himself.
Yeah, well, before he had no substance. Until he broke Cena's nose, and that was only like 3 weeks ago. His promos were about the Shield, how I broke up the Shield, how I cashed in, how I beat both Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar for the belt, and it was just like the same promo each time. And then he lost his curb stomp.
Why? Like, oh gosh,
he lost his curb stomp.
That was his finisher. Like,
it was his identity. It was his identity. And so not only is he always talking about the same shit, he lost the one thing that stood out about him, and he picked up Triple H. Well, he just picked up someone else's move. So what is there left of Seth Rollins? That is Seth Rollins. And when he broke Cena's nose, he was given brand new material. This past Thursday on SmackDown, he had a really bizarre opening. Like until he started talking about like his greatness, it was just weird. I was like, where are you going, Seth? You're talking too much. And then Neville comes out, and he's like, you go on and on and on. And then Cesaro comes out, and he's like, you go on and on, which has become almost like a gimmick for Cesaro now. Whenever he comes out, whether he's shooting on Owens and now he's shooting on Rollins, it's like, you go on and on.
Oh, yes, he's hilarious.
And the Cesaro section, me and Jake, we made a wager. I said by Night of Champions, the Cesaro section will be hijacked. They're gonna stop those people at the door from bringing in the Cesaro section stuff.
Oh no!
I feel like that's gonna happen, and he's like, "No, you're gonna have Cesaro section towels, and they're gonna market that shit." And I go, "No, I just don't. He's not the chosen one. Right now, he's got a good run on him, but he's not the chosen one." So I feel like just like with Zack Ryder, when they started confiscating his billboards and stuff of that nature, and then when they started confiscating. Right when the Yes Movement started, they started confiscating Daniel Bryan stuff. I feel like they're going to do that with this, unless it becomes like a Cesaro movement to get him to face, whoever in the main event of WrestleMania. Like, if he doesn't get anointed the guy to win the Royal Rumble, we're gonna have another problem on our hands, just like Daniel Bryan from last year.
Oh yeah, when they booed. With Cesaro, I don't know like how. Okay, if you put Cesaro in the main event, who would you have him face? Because you don't have that many baby face. I mean, besides John Cena, I'm talking about somebody credible like John Cena. He's like the only really big face you have. I'm sorry, not face. Sorry, Cesaro's face. I'm trying to get used to that. Like heel. Like who would you have as a heel? As a champion at the time, to versus Cesaro. I think,
you could talk about in-ring, but I think his biggest adversary right now would be Vince McMahon. I think it would be Vince McMahon. If they set him up, not like some Stone Cold Austin. You know, Stone Cold.
Okay.
You can't do that again. But if you can remember the first Stone Cold podcast with Vince McMahon, and he was talking about Cesaro, and he was like, he just can't connect with the people. Maybe because he's Swiss, right?
Yeah, I saw that, and he just left a disgusting taste in my mouth. Like, really? Like, really? Did you just say, like, really?
Yeah.
Really? You need the future. Idiot, come on.
Well, he doesn't see him as marketable. He doesn't see him as marketable as a Roman Reigns, as marketable as a John Cena, as marketable as a 57-year-old Undertaker. Like, and that's
he's not 57, Peter. Okay, do not go on the Undertaker like that. He is 50. He might look 57.
Yeah, he might look. he might look 75. And like that's what he looks. But his body's been through many toll. I mean, he's had how many hip replacements? I mean, he's definitely looks. I mean, him and Goldust. I think Goldust is actually older than the Undertaker. But his last run, he's in there looking like Cesaro. He's in there running faster and doing everything. He's like Daniel Bryan out that motherfucker. He's like 53.
Fuck yeah, because basically he was moving like a damn freaking cruiserweight, and I was like, damn, like Goldust, he was on point. He was on, but you had to realize Goldust probably he didn't put his body through what the Undertaker put his body.
And that's the thing. He didn't have the liberty of having like Hell in a Cell matches against Mankind. So I mean, just that one match alone probably took at least 10, 15 years away of like health. Like in general, and you look at a guy like Mick Foley, who it took at least 30 years of health off of his ass.
Yes, maybe 50. I heard rumors he can't barely walk. I mean, he's walking, but you could tell his body just done with wrestling.
Yeah. But he's in good spirits and he's reaping the benefits. His family's taken care of, his daughter's taken care of. So, and we'll probably see her soon. She's training. Like, that's what she's doing right now. She's training. I think she's working with Lance Storm or something. And we'll see it in maybe a year or two. Noel Foley, and they're going to have a rival with Charlotte Flair. That'd be pretty cool. But I guess to answer your question, but then to answer your question, if he was to face anybody, like a credible guy, it's Slim Pickens. A, he has to have Vince McMahon as an out-of-the-ring adversary. And they got to go back and forth. And B, it would either be Triple H or Brock Lesnar.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it would have to be Triple H or Brock Lesnar.
So no Stephanie in this situation, right? So no Stephanie.
Why?
Just Triple H. Because you know she has to be in stuff, Peter. I mean, you know she has to be like, she has to be the middle of stuff. Okay, she's a tweener. She's a face when she's with like dealing with the divas, and she's a heel when she was with Triple H, which is weird to me. On the same show, mind you.
Well, that's if they aligned him with a girl, which would be a bad idea. Like, he needs to be... Because what they've been doing is throwing him in tag teams. You know, you talk about the Real Americans, which was over like hotcakes until they fucked up and actually had him turn, you know, on Zeb Coulter and him joining with Paul Heyman. And then and then that went to shit because Paul Heyman was doing any and everything to promote Brock Lesnar. And he was just like this dude. And then Kid and Cesaro. And then, like, Kid had to... You know, he got hurt. And then he was just like dangling, and I think just his charisma just got him over. Now, to say he buried, like, I don't like using the word buried because someone loses a match. When you're on TV, you're good, you know, you're all right.
Yeah.
And he was put in prominent matches. You know, he was one of the Cena U.S. Open challenges that was off the fucking hook.
Yes, and then my top 3 of the year, one of my top 3 of the year.
And then I think just his charisma in general and the backing that he had, I think Vince McMahon had no other choice but to just keep him on TV. But to put him in a situation again, someone's gonna have to sit back and be like, look, we got ourselves another problem, and we got the Cesaro section. We went from the Yes Movement to the Cesaro section, and we have to, we have to cater to this fan base. Vince, would you be up for another feud? He'd be like, God damn it, I got about God damn it, Triple H, I don't know. We will see. And speaking of. We haven't spoke on the Divas yet. And how do you feel about this Divas revolution and everything that's happening? Because do you watch NXT?
We was talking about this on Twitter, huh?
Do you watch NXT?
Yeah, okay. This what happened with NXT because my schedule is really crazy. I have 2 jobs. It's really crazy. But last week I caught up on all the episodes. I didn't watch this week's episode, but I saw the spoilers, so I already know what happened. But I watched all of them. I used to watch it faithfully, but my schedule. And what was the question? I'm sorry.
How do you feel about the Divas Revolution?
Divas Revolution. Okay. I've always been on a bandwagon with Sasha Banks, and Charlotte and Becky Lynch at NXT. I was like, okay, I love these girls. They're good for down there. And people on Twitter was like, hey, they need to come to the main roster. And I'm like... Look how they treating Paige. You know what I mean? I was like, no, I don't want them on the main roster. Look what they do on the Paige. They don't have nobody. I mean, besides AJ, she was like her only really feud.
Uh-huh.
I mean, Naomi at the time, she was her feud too. But like, I was like, okay, they need to bring up these stars. But I'm afraid that they're gonna like water them down. They're not gonna have the matches that they have in NXT. Which they proved me wrong. The Divas match has been having 10-minute matches and 15-minute matches, and I'm like, whoa.
How about like 17, 18-minute segments and two spots? We're talking segments. We're not even talking about match time. We're talking like just legitimate like Cena time. They're getting Triple H time. And
exactly.
And you look at guys like
I'd rather have them on there than hear Triple H and Stephanie talk for 20 minutes. So that's cool with me.
But you're still gonna get it. But I'm just saying now the Divas time watch, like, stopwatch that used to be 2-3 minutes, maybe 3 if they were lucky. That shit has shifted over to Neville and Barrett, and what I'm saying, like these short matches, like Dean Ambrose, like they're the ones suffering right now because the Divas are taking up at least 20, 25 minutes worth of Raw time, and I'm just like, ugh.
But you know what, Peter, though? But listen what you just said, 25 minutes, right? It's a 3-hour show. I know it's commercials. I understand that. Mm-hmm. It's a 3-hour show. They need to stop having these long Seth Rollins promos or whoever come out for 20 minutes. Okay, if you want to start with a promo, make it 10 or 5 minutes tops. I do not need to hear you for 20 minutes. No, okay? Don't keep doing it. Like, it's a 3-hour show. I wish they go back to 2 hours, but that's just me. It's not going to happen. But...
yeah, I mean, it's a 3-hour show, but this is the sports entertainment world, you know what I'm saying, of the WWE, and it's more than just the in-ring action, right?
Right, yeah.
They don't, like, the WWE is not trying to make itself into an ROH. It's not trying to make itself into a PWG, and I have this weird feeling, and this is, I'll let you continue. I'm going to let you finish, but I feel like it's too much too soon. I feel like it's too much too soon. They brought them up way too... for them to bring them up the way they did and then like put them in little factions, it's doing them a disservice. And now no one's attention is towards the belt. And I feel like this is basically a plot. And it is all well and good. But this is a plot to make sure that Nikki Bella beats AJ Lee's title reign. I don't see her dropping that title reign until the Royal Rumble. Because they're going to make that...
Whoa, really?
Yeah, well...
the Royal Rumble... No, I believe it's going to be before that.
Nope,
like,
I'm sorry. They're going to make that fucking... They're going to make that title reign so unreachable. They're going to make it so unreachable that it's not even going to be funny. And until someone speaks up about wanting a title shot, that's when I'll be like, okay, there's a chance. But I don't see anybody even talking about getting a title shot until Survivor Series.
Really? I mean, okay. I was going to think she was going to lose it. I was going to say Night Champions because with the Divas Revolution, I agree they shouldn't have brought them up so quick. But I mean, they're here now. But I would have wanted them to make them solo. You know what I mean? Like, yep. I rather had, like, for example, I rather had Sasha Banks came after SummerSlam, after, like, basically, like, after, let's say it wasn't no team bat. And you have what's their name? It sounds like a PCP, but it's PCB. Yeah, that.
Like the old school black hair products and shit.
Yes! Oh my gosh! Yeah, actually, my mother was talking about that.
PCB,
which is weird. Oh yeah. My god!
You watch Soul Train? That's all they got. PCB, baby. And I try to tell like all my white friends, like the white friends that I have that watch wrestling. I was like, PCB, yeah. It's like, you remember watching Soul Train back in the day, or like reading Jet magazine, or like Ebony? They're like, no.
No. my mother brought that up recently. Oh wow. That's matter of fact, it was on Raw when they brought up the name, because I was like, did they just say PCP? But she was like, no. She's like, no, she used to be a hair product.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. Then she walked away.
Yeah, because they sort of what's pussyfooted out of the whole submission sorority thing. Like, they didn't have an entire segment dedicated to them becoming that name. And then, like, when they did the search and come to find out it was like directly it was
porn, right?
Yeah, like it's Bang Bros, a division called Haze Her, where it's like these sorority girls who were basically hazing the young bucks coming up and making them like suck dick and like fuck dudes against their will so they can join the sorority and shit like that. So that became an issue. But rather than just own up, because I was listening to Cheap Heat and they said, like, within 3 months they could have owned that name. They could have owned it. Like, oh yeah, we just so happened to go by the same name. But like, you would search submission sorority within like a month or two and you would get WWE stuff. Not necessarily Bang Bros. Well, depending on which search engine you're on.
Right. Yeah.
Whether
Depends.
it's Bing, you probably get the Bang Bro stuff. But on Google, which most people use, they would get WWE stuff. So, but then they go, okay, it never happened. As me and Jake go, it got Hoganed.
Oh yeah, Hulk Hogan. Wow,
It got Hogan.
That's gone. You just blink. You never existed at the first WrestleMania. You just gone.
You done.
You know,
like things getting Hoganed.
done.
That's my new verb now. When things get when ends don't tie up. Like when because Cesaro lost to Kevin Owens on SmackDown like 4 weeks ago, but they never bring it up.
Hogan.
Hogan.
And you know what? And you know what? I would have never knew that because I don't watch SmackDown.
Yeah.
I watched a recap of basically like the Divas matches and see. And speaking of the Divas, did you hear about the botch between Charlotte and Naomi?
What botch? Like what?
It was okay. The match supposed to last, I guess. I believe it was last week's SmackDown, and it was like they did a roll up, but the match supposed to last a couple more minutes. Did you hear about that?
Are you talking about the that was who was it? Was
it was I believe it was a tag. Okay, first I think it was 1-on-1, and then they turned to a tag team. It was Charlotte and Becky versus Sasha and Naomi.
Yes.
And then they kept doing the roll ups. And when they was doing the roll ups, because when I actually saw that one live, I was like, okay.
Oh no, it was the Bella Twins. It was the Bella Twins. Was it the Bella Twins? No. But I know the pin. I know the pin you're talking about. I know the pin you're actually talking about.
Okay, but they said it's supposed to have been basic. It's supposed to have been like a couple more minutes on that match, and then Naomi looked pissed because I guess Charlotte didn't kick out or something, and the match was have maybe 1 or 2 more segments, I guess, in the show. Because when I watched it, and I was like, okay, why Sasha Banks look like that? Because she looked like
They all look kind of disappointed. Yeah, they all look like
they just like I was like, oh, something was wrong. I was like, oh, okay.
I didn't pick up on that, but I was just like, but in the end, I just go like, good. Maybe it fucked up the programming, but like they're gonna wrestle those girls out. I feel like there's something's going to happen. It's going to like this whole Divas Revolution until they start separating people and start like people talking about going after the Divas Championship. I think it's going to backfire. I have this weird feeling it is going to be too much wrestling, not enough storyline, and not enough individuality. Especially when you're talking about Sasha Banks.
She's like the group. Okay. When you look at Team Bad, she's like the okay. She's not the out. Okay, should I say outsider? Like, she's the boss. Like she's the leader of the group. Like the other two was just there. In my opinion.
Well, in fact, it's supposed to be Naomi. Naomi's supposed to be head. Yeah. She's like the Farouk, and Sasha Banks is like the Rock.
The Rock. Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. Yeah, exactly. You nailed it. Oh, exactly. Like she just because when you look at Sasha, you're like, okay, why is she with them? Like why? Like she doesn't need to be with them. She should be solo. She needs to be solo.
It's like okay, we're gonna take the black girl, put her with the other black girls, and then we're gonna take the white girls and put them in their own thing. Alicia Fox, just by default, we're throwing with the Bellas because the Bellas are like white and Cuban or some shit like that.
Exactly.
They're like, all right, we'll do that. They've been around together longer, so we just throw Alicia in that fix because it's not like we're gonna put like Emma in that spot. It's not like we're gonna put anyone else in that spot. You better you're gonna go back and get Oksana or some shit like.
Oh God!
So just by default, Summer Rae, they got rid of her ass after she dropped the knee on Naomi's eye. Like they got rid of her like 2 weeks later.
Oh yeah,
because she almost did it again.
Yeah, she was done.
She ended up.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, yeah, she is reckless in the ring. Like, she needs to be a valet. Like, just keep her as a valet. Like, I don't mind. You have valets, and then you have wrestlers, the divas. Well, I hate saying divas. I'd rather say women's division, but divas. I'd rather have two separate brands. I mean, for example, you need to put. I think her name is Brie Bella, Daniel Bryan's wife. Put her in the valet. She shouldn't. She shouldn't wrestle.
Well, those girls have improved, though. I mean, I'm not taking thing away from the Bellas.
Nikki improved, but Brie. Okay, a little bit, yes, but she. I mean,
now she's copying Daniel Bryan's moves too. Now.
Oh yeah. Okay.
The yes kicks.
Okay. Yeah, you saw on Raw, they popped for her, and I was like, why are they popping for her? But I was like, oh, they in Washington State. I was like, oh.
Well, okay. But I don't know. I was someone who was very mad the first time because Naomi was getting the babyface push. And she was actually going after the Bellas. And the Bellas were doing dastardly shit, like interfering, twin magic, you know. Naomi was the fucking babyface. But for some strange reason, and I talk about this.
Because she's black, Peter.
I know.
Matter of fact, we talk about this on Twitter. Actually.
Oh, yeah. This is how we ended up talking. Like, that's some bullshit. And I saw someone else post something like that on this Solid Monster Sounds Off, and I was just like, dude, I'm glad I'm not the only one that feels that way. Anytime that the Bellas, it's one thing for the Bellas to be in there, and because of their star status in general, because with Total Divas, and them just being who they are, attractive women, you know, whatever. It's kind of hard to root against them, but they were rooted against at some point. But all of a sudden, they started facing Naomi, and she was getting the babyface push. People was just like, yeah, let's boo the black girl. And it was kind of fucked up. I was like, Jake, do you not realize this? Do you not see this happening? And the same with the New Day, because the New Day were baby faces and Keda Cesaro were heels. They were the assholes. They had aligned themselves with Adam Rose and everything. And the New Day were like basically in the beginning stages like these vanilla people, you know, just vanilla baby faces. And then people just started rooting for Keda Cesaro. And I tried to tell Jake that. I was like, Jake, don't you realize what's happening with the New Day is also happening with Naomi? Like, they just happen to be the black people in the ring, and they're going up against heels that are getting cheered for. But, hey, man, the subconscious is a weird thing, you know? Especially when you're dealing with race relations or what have you.
Yeah, it's... Because, okay, I don't know if you remember... I believe it was in this month or maybe in July that they had all the brothers in the tag team match. I believe it was Primetime Players with Mark Henry versus New Day. I was like, oh, they got all the brothers in the match. Like, yeah, okay.
But all the brothers, but the brothers are running since Team Hell No has left. It's been nothing but brothers running the tag team division. Whether it's the Usos, you know. The Usos, they tried to do the thing with Harper and Rowan, but for some reason that just didn't work out. But it was the Usos, and then the New Day, and now the Primetime Players. So it's like the tag team division has just basically been. You have Los Matadores, they're Latino.
Oh yeah, them.
And then you have the Lucha Dragons, who are Mexican. They're Cuban, and then they're Mexican. It's like the only white tag team that was in that whole thing was Harper and Rowan when they reunited, and the Ascension. And Keda Cesaro. You know what? But that's it.
I don't count the Ascension. Yeah, I don't count the Ascension in the tag team because I didn't see them since they debut.
I was rooting for them for the kind of cheesy factor. Yeah, I was like, yeah, Ascension, man.
In NXT, I liked them. They was cool. You know, and Raw, I was like, it's not getting over. Like, why are you putting this face paint on these people?
Well, because it was mostly JBL. I think if JBL wouldn't have, like, been part of this whole... Well, the blow-off was basically all the legends coming out to, like, squash the Ascension. And they were just basically... They were a joke. They were brought out as a joke, so we're going to take them as a joke. And it's a shame because as depleted as the tag team division had become, something fresh and something new that looked like it had potential, if they would have gave them an honest heave-ho, you know, just give them a little bit of head of steam. They didn't, though. They humiliated them immediately, and they were never able to bounce back.
Right.
But as for NXT, all right, what the fuck's going on in NXT right now?
I was talking with Nathan earlier on Twitter. It's in holes right now. Like it just these big gaps, and basically you got the main people, Kevin Owens, Sasha, all of them going to the main roster, and then you still have Sami Zayn out. I don't know what they're gonna do with him when he returns.
I know he's gonna be a fish out of water. Because that's what right now you got Hideo Itami out, you got Sami Zayn out, and now you're left with like Finn Balor and Samoa Joe. And like,
Tyler Breeze. I might be the only person who loves Tyler. I love Tyler Breeze. I don't know why. Don't judge me. I love Tyler Breeze. I love his character. I don't know why.
Because he reminds you of Shawn Michaels.
Yeah. In a way, I just love his charisma. Like I just love his charisma, and his theme song is freaking hilarious. Peter, you ever listen to it? I finally listened to it. I was like, really? Like this is his thing, so it fits him. But I don't think
but it's like Sexy
will go
Boy
on the main roster.
It's basically it's like Sexy Boy Part 2.
Yeah, PG of course.
Yeah,
but
he's just a sexy boy. Sexy boy. It's basically, but it's the same thing. Tyler Breeze's song is like what is? How does his song go?
Oh God, I can't see.
But it's almost similar. Like it's almost similar lyrics and everything.
Your eye look at me. So I don't know. I can't do that. It's something. It's just he's like singing to himself. Basically, he's basically describing himself.
Yeah.
And I'm just like it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's just hilarious. But what you were saying with NXT, it's a lot of hoes right now. I'm not talking about the hoes on the corner. I'm talking about hoes in the basement.
You got a cold.
Roster, okay?
You got a cold. You got a cold. There's a lot of hoes. You're like Charles Barkley over there with that cold, man.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's because I have sinus, and then my cold is just like.
It's all good.
It's very congested. Every time you talk, I'll probably be very congested. I'm always congested for some.
But this is not the last time you're going to be on here. They're going to be able to hear you in your uncongested state at some point. All right.
I hope so. Jesus, I hope so. They're gonna be like, "Why does she sound like that?" But
is that Charles Barkley's daughter?
You know what, Peter? We're gonna fight.
It's all in good humor, but like it's becoming depleted, and being that it's a developmental, it went from being a super indie to and now it's really showing its true colors as a developmental promotion. Well, it's what it is. It's developmental. You get like all these awesome indie people, and now they're gone. And the Divas division has all the good girls. You're left with Bayley, and now like you got to deal with like who, like Dana Brooke. Like what?
You don't like Dana Brooke? She's growing on me for some. Her and Emma as a tag team, they growing on me some right now. Like they growing on me. I don't know why.
Because they're the mean girls. Do they remind you of Is it like Lay Cool to you or something? I mean, I don't know.
Yes and no, but they not like they don't whine. They not whiny per se. I don't know. Okay, well Dana Brooke, she got me growing on her because I don't know. You watched when they talking to oh God, what's the lady name? Devin. Every time she talked to her, she just like criticized her or she pat her on the head.
On the head, yeah.
It's hilarious to me. I'm just like, oh wow, like you patting her on the head, and I'm like, I was like, first I was like, that's messed up. She should still her. And I was like, what? It's a part of her character. It's part of her character.
Yeah. I remember like 2 weeks ago, she left without patting her on the head, and then she came back.
Yeah, she did it again.
But I'll be honest, and Jake, who Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling, I do on Wednesdays. He does a podcast called Faster Than the World, and it's basically a review on the NXT product, and he's really defensive about. He doesn't listen to anything I do outside of Peter and Jake. He doesn't even listen to Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling, and I'm not talking shit, but he gets mad defensive, like super defensive when it comes to NXT. And
really?
Yeah, because I was just like, dude, because he's like, oh man, it's like a third brand. It's like its own brand. I'm like, no, man, this is developmental. What's going to happen when all those people come up? Who's going to fill in the spots coming up? I mean, right now it's a super indie. All right, we get it, but like this is a good run. But what's going to happen afterwards? You're going to have a lot of complaints because you're just singing its praising right now, but you're going to have a lot of complaints coming the next 4 or 5 months. You are. Because you're left right now with, like, what, Jordan and Gable, you know, the Vaudevillains. You got Bailey, and then, like, you know, like, she's the only part of that little 4-girl group that she was left behind because she had a hand injury.
Right. I mean, you have Eva Marie.
Oh, my God. All right, folks, that's been Peter Talks Wrestling with.
You have Eva Marie.
I like to thank my guest today. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. You should come back more often.
Well, thank you.
I'm kidding. That's my Ava,
no.
That's my rib on you about mentioning Ava Marie.
Boo me
my
out.
God.
You trying to boo me out already, Peter. See, I thought we was friends, but it's okay. But you know, but on a serious note, Eva Marie, like she had her first debut.
It was uncomfortable.
No, it was okay. No, I'm gonna give her okay. But she was more concerned about her nose. I think she got hit in the nose and the mouth.
She got popped in the face.
She was more concerned of her. Oh, in the face. Okay.
She got
more
kicked.
Concerned about that
because she was going against a kicker. And
I forgot her name.
Sarah Del Rey or something. She would have against somebody. Maybe Blue Pants or some shit like that. But like,
it wasn't Blue Pants. It was some random girl. I think she'd be on there occasionally, but she's not one of the top girls. But
like Sarah something. But
yes,
she's a kicker.
Yeah,
like she's a kick striker, and like there was one where she like pops her in the face with like a good clean kick to the face, and I think she ate a second buckle too. That was pretty fucked up. But yeah, like it was so uncomfortable because she's like, you could tell that she was like in her head the entire time, and she was this smile on her face as if she was like, I don't know. It just rubbed me the wrong way. I'm like, this is going to be a horrible, horrible, horrible thing.
They should have waited. I mean, I understand they want to showcase her, because, Sasha no longer going to the main roster. So I'm feeling like they rushing her to the main roster because, to NXT, back in NXT, because the other girls are leaving. And, that gap they have. So they try and put her in that gap. But it's like, she needs more practice.
Well, there's women wrestlers out there. There's like Candice LaRue, who's out in PWG. She's part of the World's Cutest Tag Team. That's the name of the tag team. And they are the tag team, the the PWG World Tag Team Champions. Then there's also Shine. Shine is like this, that's where, not Banks, Lynch. Lynch, she wrestles in Shine, which is an all-girls wrestling promotion. And it's like girls who have been on the independent scene for quite some time. And why not just, go to that pot? I know it's one thing to sort of milk them dry, but there's a lot of independent women who just can't, that can get on there and they can keep the ball moving while you make sure that NXT product is still good. Again, it's going to be,
right,
as Dusty Rhodes would call it, hard times awaits. Hard time awaits the NXT product, and I don't know. Poor Samoa Joe and poor Finn Balor. I mean, they got to bring motherfuckers down from the main roster for him to have somebody to face.
What do you think about Zack Ryder on with the Hype Bros? Like, what do you think? You think this is WWE like last opportunity to get him over again, or just like, okay, just get him something to do because he's just sitting around?
So you want to talk to me about Zack Ryder? So you've been listening to Peter Talks Wrestling with, folks. I'm glad you checked out. I want to thank come on, don't bring up fucking Zack Ryder, please.
What? Oh my God, Peter. Oh, no, I'm not a fan. I was just okay. We just making.
Let's talk about Apollo. Let's talk about Apollo Crews, okay? Let's talk about Apollo Crews, all right? Uha Nation. Let's talk. Fuck Zack Ryder, all right?
But back to Samoa Joe, though. Okay, I was pumped when he first came in. I mean, to me, he's still a TNA guy, but it's like they don't have nothing to do. They had nothing for him.
Yeah.
And like you said, they bring in guys from the main roster back down to try to get him over, but I don't know. Should they just put him in the main roster and Kevin Owens down there, or like what do you think?
It was just bad timing. He would have feuded with Kevin Owens, but Kevin Owens had already gotten called up. You also have the idea that he could have possibly came in as a heel and faced off with Sami Zayn, but he's injured. You also could have faced off with Hideo Itami as heel, but he got injured as well. So he just happens to now who's left? Fucking Rhino, and he just bad place, wrong time. All they got for him now is just squash matches, and Rhino. And I saw that match, and that was a clean victory for on Rhino that he got. It's like, well, what else is there for him? It's just bad timing. They should have held off until January or something, where they could have done something. I don't know. Maybe I'm not making any sense right now, but again, it's just wrong time. If he would have came at least 6 or 8 months earlier, then we'd be singing a different tune right now. But
okay, maybe he should have popped in for the Royal Rumble and get that pop, and then they sent him back to the NXT.
Exactly. Well, or just send him to the main roster regardless. But again, you got two fat guys. You got Kevin Owens. No, seriously, who you gonna give the rub to? You can't have like two fat guys like just immediately come up to the main roster. I mean, like, come on. I ain't trying to be all like Scott Steiner over here and shit, but.
I mean, but you know what? When Samoa Joe goes to the main roster, I mean, he got to answer to Cena, the C Nation. Ugh. So.
I mean, but depending on who would he face? I mean, they would have to, because they fed Kevin Owens to Cena. They would have to send him, if Samoa Joe comes up, he can't be babyface. He's going to be a fucking Samoan heel, and he's going to go up against Randy Orton. And a guy of his wrestling caliber and how long he's been in the business and how much respect that he has, he would have to start not necessarily at the top, but at the same place, mid-card, but still, high-profile match. And then go from there. I mean, he can then face a couple other guys. I don't know. It's slim pickings right now. It really is. But he's just he'd be another fat guy on the roster.
Yeah. And speaking of fat guys, Kevin Owens, them shorts that he be wearing, my brother have like similar shorts to him. Like, he just look like an average guy. Like
what you call a ham and egger. That's what he looks like out there. But hey, his reputation precedes him, and he does do awesome in the ring because he's very fearless at times. When he's not playing the whole chicken shit, move the fuck out of the way, walk Owens walk kind of guy. When he's in the ring, if he's not grounding and pounding, what he did with Sami Zayn, say the shit he did with Cena was incredible. And hell, you take his performance just this past Monday, he did a fucking flip.
Oh yeah, that man is crazy off the top ropes.
He missed it, but still, I mean, the guy he's fearless at his size. You take a guy like that, you think he's just slow, but he's like Bam Bam Bigelow out there. He's like just a big bad, fast, quick, like uncannily quick guy that if you don't pay attention, you could be tossed up in the air and thrown on your back, or you're gonna catch a cannonball, or he's gonna come flying over the top rope. And that's the thing with Kevin Owens. But again, that's a Triple H move. The fact that he's up there, and that's Vince McMahon like just going along with it versus because we all know what Vince McMahon likes. He likes them
big, big, and can't talk.
Yeah, just throw Paul Heyman on him. God damn it, Paul Heyman! Where are you, Paul? Paul, God damn it! I got the worst Vince McMahon.
Peter, what did you what did you think about the okay, first of all, I hate the six tag matches that WWE put on every Raw or mostly Raws this year. It drives me nuts. But the only one I actually was entertained is with the heels. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was recent. It was Kevin Owens, Sheamus, and it was somebody else.
It was Randy Orton.
It was Rusev.
No, it was. Oh, you're talking about that one. It
Rusev.
Okay.
Right. But but each of them, they had a conflict with each other and they left. I loved that. I was like, why we can't have this more often, or maybe a pay-per-view? It was hilarious. Like, just because you heels, I mean, you had to tag up. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be a conflict with each other. I love the interaction what they had with each other.
Well, it was, and it left Rusev looking like a babyface once you think about it. And that was one of the things that one of the campaigns I was going with. It's like, look, dude, look what they're doing to Rusev. They're putting him. There's been 3 straight weeks he's been put in a place where should be John Cena. You know, or Roman Reigns, a guy who's in peril, and you know the faces become the bullies. You know, he was left in there with 3 guys, and he got demolished. He got destroyed, and you just don't see. It's not like he did anything to those guys to deserve it. You know, his beef right now is with not Summer Rae, but with Lana and Dolph Ziggler. If anything, you want to see Dolph Ziggler, you know, put Rusev to shame, not necessarily watch him get big swung into a fisherman's carry into a fucking RKO. You know, you just don't want to see that. You know, who wants to see that? You know, happen to a heel. You want that heel to actually beat the shot out of baby faces, and you know, have that build into a pay-per-view where the heel finally gets his comeuppance. I don't know. I was on a campaign also about the whole triple threat thing, and now they're doing it like with SummerSlam. We got fucking tag matches and triple threats and fatal 4-ways. And it's like, God damn it, man. Whatever happened to the days of just man on man? Now, the performances are great. They ain't take it away from the performers, but like, God damn, man. Like, chill it with these triple threats and fatal 4-ways. Just chill out.
Okay, do you think because the show is 3 hours, you think they just add matches because it's raw? They added matches to make it like feel the 3 hours?
No, they're just throwing matches together because they don't know their fucking ass from their elbow.
And then SummerSlam was like a 5-hour event now, or 4 hours now?
It's 4 hours, including the pre-show. That's like 6 hours. I mean, I think each day they add another hour. Because you got NXT.
Why?
Because you got NXT, right? It's just.
Oh yeah, that's on Saturday. Next Saturday.
Yeah, that's you got like 9 hours of WWE product in one weekend. 9 fucking hours.
Do the total week, Peter. Like the whole week. What's that, like 20 hours? Like you got Raw 3 hours.
You got Raw.
And you got SmackDown. That's 2 hours, right?
2 hours.
Is it Superstars? I don't watch.
Well, no, I wouldn't compare. I wouldn't throw in Superstars. I would say NXT.
Okay, that's 6 hours, and then plus the weekend. That's what, 12 hours.
God Almighty, it's over
in 1 week though. In 7 days. Like wow, that's okay. Okay, speaking of tag team, what do you think about the triple threat Divas Revolution? Do you think it's going to be like a swerve? You think like one of them's going to like?
No, I think the Bellas are going to just win it all.
Oh gosh, I was listening to this podcast. It's called Don Tony and Kevin Castle.
I can't listen to those fuckers.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They're the biggest whiners. They're the biggest bitch, especially like Kevin Castle. Fuck that dude.
I just really okay. I'm sorry, but he had a point. That I'm just gonna make this one point.
Wait a minute, no, yeah, Kevin is the one who's on the phone.
Yes, he's on the phone. I love Don Tony. Kevin, he okay. I mean, he all right.
He doesn't he always cuts off Don Tony. He cuts him off.
You know what he does, and then I remember Don Tony kept saying like, you know, he been in the music business for years, so he probably can't hear him.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, gotcha. But Don Tony made a point. I forgot the point was just now. Oh, I forgot my point.
You got time. We're talking about the divas, the divas, the 3.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. He had a point. He was like with the piece with a page group. I'm gonna call them that because they're confusing. He was saying basically you could do name the group Sisters of Submission, SOS. What do you think about that?
I remember hearing about that. The Sisters of Submission, that's great. But still, like, yeah. I'm just against all 3 of those girls just being up all together. They're here, we got to deal with it. But no, I just go, how about this for a faction name? The fuck out of here. That works.
Yeah, You need to give that to oh my god, what is his name? JBL. Get him that, because I'm sick of the commentary. I am sick of that commentary.
he's we're not going to talk about JBL. Actually, we need to wrap this fucker up because we're at least a good hour and maybe 45 minutes in.
Oh wow.
That's what happens when you're having fun.
Yeah, thanks, Peter. I mean, it's a Friday, my day off, and I get to chat with you, man, about wrestling.
Yeah, I gotta eat, and I mean, I DJ, so I have to actually eat and spruce up and start my evening and prepare to DJ for the evening. But that's gonna be a lot to break down. I mean, I'm gonna have this up tomorrow as soon as I wake up. I guess for those who are listening, we're recording this on Friday. Make sure you listen to Peter Talks SmackDown, and then today you're listening to this on Saturday. This is Peter Talks Wrestling with Keda. Keda legit boss, and I imagine that has a lot to do with your Homer love crush for Sasha Banks.
Yes, it definitely. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of hers. I am a huge fan of Sasha Banks. I follow her since NXT, so yes, that's my chick. You know, 90s babies, 90s.
You know, she's like a Snoop Dogg's first cousin.
Yeah. I heard about that.
Kind of crazy. And how do someone find you on Twitter?
It's you know it. It's YEAHU is the letter U. Yeah, you know it. Oh, KNOWIT 1991.
1991.
Yes.
Okay, I left out 1991.
I believe it's nice. You know what? Let me double check. I believe it's 1991 or it's 91. I should know this because I always on there. I know. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Yeah, 1991.
Okay, so yeah, you know it. 1991. If you're listening, friend her. Oh, god damn it.
Yes, follow me.
Follow her, friend her, follow her, give her a shout out, tell her she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about, or tell her that her insight is quite awesome. You can do whatever you want. That's the freedom. 1997, you say?
No, 1991.
1991.
Peter, 1991.
Oh, man.
199 is yeah, you know it, and 199.
And she's going to be back. I would like to have you back here in a month if that's possible.
Oh, definitely. Just let me know. I mean, if you want me to come like in a week to come, that's fine. Just let me know in advance.
We gotta give it. We're not gonna diva. We're not gonna diva revolution this. Right? We're gonna keep this.
Okay.
We're not gonna give.
We try not to.
Yeah, we're not gonna divas revolution this shit. We're just gonna give them piece by piece and let them demand more as the time goes on.
Gotcha. Okay.
And yeah, be sure to. I don't know if you listen to. I don't know if you listen to Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling, but if you got the time, check it out.
Oh, definitely. I was going to check it out. Actually, when you were Skyping me, I was actually listening to it. Actually.
Oh, word.
A past episode.
How far will we end? Will we talk about PWG?
No. It was with Nathan.
Oh, okay. You were listening to the
I don't know which week it was though.
Oh, maybe just this past week. The broccoli brutalizer.
Yeah. I think I kept stopping because my dog was irritating, and I was listening to that. Yeah, but I didn't because I was going to catch up on your podcast because I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Yeah. I only have so much time to listen to. I listen to Solid Monster Sound Off. I listen to PW Torch. I listen to MLW, and I also the Sleg Daddy on YouTube. Is there anything else? I used to listen to a lot of Colt Cabana, but I don't listen to that too much. I listen to the Austin podcast. I listen to Jim Ross.
I cannot listen to them. I love them, but I cannot listen to them all the time because them goddamn commercials and them plugs they keep plugging.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts. I'm like, I can't listen to you. It's too many plugs. Like, come on, really?
A lot of plugs.
Yeah.
Plug life.
Wow. They exhausted me of saying that just now. But.
Yeah. So we're just gonna go ahead and wrap this bad boy up. Again, you can find her on Twitter. Yeah, you know it. Not YOU, but just a U between yeah and know it. 1991. That was my 8th grade. I was in 8th grade that year.
I'm sorry.
It's all good. And make sure you follow me, pjtwcentral.com. Also, go to pjtwcentral.com. Bookmark that. The materials on that page. Also, like, subscribe, comment, thumbs up, share. If you like what you hear, make sure you share it amongst your friends who also enjoy a good laugh and some solid wrestling conversation. So, on behalf of Keda Legit Balls, you got any last words?
Thank you for having me, Peter. I really had a blast, and I can't wait to come back.
Oh, awesome. And again, guys, watch out for those foreign objects. Watch out for the foreign objects. You don't want to deal with the foreign objects. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your weekend.